Are you starting your new recruiter job? Yay! Well, here's the questions you need to make sure you ask while you're training. Hey, welcome to the Millionaire Recruiter. I'm Brianna Rooney, your Millionaire Recruiter. And if you have not seen this channel before, it's all about upping your game in the recruiting industry. So let's get to it. So I know that we talk about training a lot, as you know, Thriversity has now launched and my course is out, so you can be that great fundamental tech recruiter. But even if I haven't helped in that situation and you're not asking me those questions or my team those questions, you still need to make sure that whenever you're starting a new position, they're gonna at least have some kind of training. Hopefully, or probably more of like onboarding, but you still need to make sure that you're asking tons of questions. Whoever you report to, dig. Even if you're a little confused, ask the question. Lots of people, and this is just in general, this is not just you recruiters, but I would say recruiters do this a lot. I think in the recruiting industry, again, since there's not so much training, you kind of want to act as is. That's how I started, but there is no dumb question. The only dumb questions, in my opinion, as I said, there's no dumb questions, is could you easily Google something? If you can easily Google something, in my mind, you shouldn't ask that question. However, if you're in the moment and it's up in conversation and you get confused, and even though, yeah, you could Google it, you should in the moment ask that question. I'm just saying, if the training's over or the session's over and you don't ask that question, then Google it first. Also, what you definitely want to ask all of the recruiting team is, hey, can I see a good example of an in-mail, an email? What's the best subject line you've used? Get examples. You need to dig on other people's experiences, which brings me to, you need to ask different questions, like what kind of scenario it is. So for example, when someone gets back and says they're interested, what do I do first? What do you do first? Or maybe you don't even want to say, what do I do first? Because you should know, but you should say, what do you do first? When someone, sends their resume to you and they don't get back, how do you handle that? So see how you're putting it on them? Again, you're grabbing their experience. You're not exactly saying, I don't know how to do this, but maybe you have a better way of doing that. Super important. You can then say, another scenario is, well, what if a candidate says they want to talk to the hiring manager and then just ghosts me, disappears? What would you do in that situation? And then that's going to get them to talk. So in general, especially you recruiters, we like to talk. We like to have conversations. We like to talk about our battle stories. So ask the recruiter, hey, what's been the hardest close? Who's been the most difficult candidate? On the flip side, what's your biggest success story? Who's your favorite candidate? All important things, because as you are getting experience, you have to take the recruiter's experience and make it as your own. Just like in these videos when I tell you stories, just like if you took Thriversity in the course, I talk about lots of different stories, because you can't start a job and have 13 years experience, because every candidate's different, every situation's different, every client's different, a different day is different, even though you're doing the same thing, you can't possibly, have answers and experience to everything. So you want to really ask as many questions as possible. And I know I'm going to tell you something that's a little scary, but you need to ask to role play. Yes, during the Thriversity course, you will role play, but it's really important. I know that it's so nerve-wracking to role play and to put yourself in this fake but real situation, but it is crucial. Think about this. If you haven't role played a recruiter screen before and you're talking to a real candidate first, it doesn't matter if you have all the notes in front of you and you're fully prepared. If you didn't role play, you are going to stumble. You are going to be nervous as hell, and it's just not going to come out correctly. Now, you could role play and still be nervous, and that's okay, because that's natural. It's going to happen. But the more times you do it, the more natural it's going to feel, and you're not going to feel like this, detective being like, okay, I'm looking at your resume, and I've heard it all. It's awful. That's what the role play's for, okay? Another great thing to ask while you're, being trained is, hey, for you, how many messages does it take to be successful? So you want to be a data-driven recruiter. I talk about that all the time throughout the course, throughout the YouTubes, all the time. Data-driven, that's what sets you apart. That's what will set you apart to the hiring managers, because you're going to come with data. So that's why you have to ask, hey, for your organization, how many messages does it take for your team to be successful? Because I can tell you all day long, it can take you 150 to 200 emails a week to be successful. But again, maybe you're at like top-notch client where, look, it only takes me actually 50 messages to be successful. Cool. Now I can really have a better candidate experience because I'm not spending a lot of time doing messages. So it's very crucial to kind of set the scene and know what it takes to be successful. On the other side of the coin, what if it's like this awful client? No one wants to work there, or maybe the pitch is vague, or who knows what it is, and they're like, hey, it takes us like 300 messages to be successful. If you didn't ask that and you're going based off of industry standard 150 emails, you're getting caught with your pants down because it takes 300 messages. So you see how those questions are super important to ask when you're training as a recruiter. Another thing to ask, and I would ask honestly almost any recruiter you come into contact with, is what are the tricks of being organized and being efficient? So recruiters are going to tell you all sorts of things. Yes, I have a video for that. However, everyone organizes and is efficient in different ways. And I can, as in the video, I give a whole list of how you can be efficient, but you're really going to find what works for you. Remember, I'm a Post-it girl. I'm still trying to get, everything on the computer, which is being successful. But, sometimes when I write, it helps me. So ask them how it works. Maybe they have some really cool productivity tools internally that they can help you with and you'll learn. So that's really cool. So, and again, let's go back to dig. Ask questions, and don't just ask questions to ask. Make sure that you're having you actually want to know the answer to, which goes back to, if you watched the video the week before, being an active listener, taking care of the conversation. So have fun while you are learning the ropes in your new position. Congratulations. Or whether or not you're just using these questions because you're going through Thriversity. Ask the questions. We want to tell you answers. We want to tell you our stories so you can make it your own and you can really go from being a junior recruiter to a badass recruiter rather quickly. This is what's cool about this industry is, you can go from zero to hero rather quickly. In my opinion, quicker than any other industry. So go do it. All right. Thank you again for all of the success we have seen through the Thriversity. If you have not checked out that course yet, definitely check it out below. Join our email list so you know exactly what's going on at any given time. We make it really simple for you. Subscribe, and again, thank you for joining and listening to the new podcast, The Talent Takeover Unfiltered. It's been super fun, and I love that there is, an even more robust audience there, and we're going to have some really cool, people come as guests and stuff. So look out for that, and I will see you every Thursday at noon. And never forget that money is just a vessel to do all the amazing things you want to go do in life. So go live it. See you next week.